So I used to live in Honolulu for about 4 years, and even though it's a very, very tiny market for us, it's probably our smallest market in the country, I'll still come out and do a training usually about once a year. And I do it just because I used to live here for a long time, so it's kind of an excuse for me to get back here. Anyway, I had the guys out, and just by coincidence, a lot of them were quite stifled, very, very stifled. And so my goal was to get them unstifled for most of the weekend. Okay, what's the main thing you learned about social skills since we've been out tonight?
State control.
How low was my energy, would you say, when I went most of those?
It was about as like there was no talking. There was not really any.
Were you surprised that the responses were better than you might expect?
I wasn't surprised, but I would see why a lot of people would be.
Okay, yeah. So what's the lesson there? Like, because you've also seen me go in very high energy, right?
Yeah.
So what's the lesson that if I go in very high energy or very low energy, what's the lesson?
I felt like you didn't need anything from them, even though you came in low energy. And so a lot of people really liked that, it seemed.
Well, yeah, what it is that you're leading. You're leading the frame. So maybe the frame is, I'm super chill and I'm gonna own it. Maybe my frame is, I'm having fun, I'm gonna own it. It's like whatever you're doing is good enough. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, you wanna try the exercise?
Yeah, I'll do it, let's go.
Okay. I thought it'd be fun to stop by Hawaii and do a little bit of training this past weekend, so I actually did a little bit of infield training. And what I want to talk to you about today is the importance of your inner dialogue and your inner cheerleaders being on your team. Now, in my mind, this is kind of a baseline to having social skills. Like, if you don't have this, there's nothing that you can study as far as social skills that's likely to help you. Because the problem is, okay, let's put it this way. Let's say that you want to be shooting basketballs, get better at shooting basketballs. Well, how would you do that? You'd be hoisting up shots. If you want to get better at shooting a hockey puck, what do? You shoot the puck. If you want to get better at throwing a javelin, what do? You throw a javelin. But if you want to get better socially, you've got to go out and meet people. And if you're unable to go out and meet people comfortably, then what's going to wind up happening is every single time you interact with someone, if it doesn't go perfect, you wind up beating yourself up. And it's just an absolute mess. So what I'm going to be showing you today, I thought I would actually just use a little DJI Osmo. I'm just shooting this off a little gimbal.
First time any of us have seen sperm whales out here. And I've been doing this for 10 years. Ian has too, 10 years. Probably got, 25 years of experience between all of us here. None of us seen sperm whales before. There you go.
Okay, thank you.
There's a baby right here.
It's a sea turtle. Oh, baby.
Oh, dolphins. You see the dolphins?
Wait, is this good though?
Yeah, it's good.
Is this good?
Yep.
Okay.
I don't know water yet.
Okay.
Let's get a parent in.
Watch.
Water too right behind me, guys. See the turtle on the surface?
Dad, are you going out with me?
Yeah, 1 second, buddy. Okay, so we'll crack into our next little segment here. In order to go out, like I was saying on the boat, you've got to be at a point where you could just be hoisting up metaphorical shots. You've got to be at a point where, on average, if I were to go out over the years, I've probably done 30 approaches, 50 approaches, and talked to 30 or 50 different groups every single time that I went out. So what do you think that did to my learning curve by allowing me to talk to that many people? It was massive. But the big thing for me was, when I go talk to people, if they didn't like me, I didn't assume that that made me a bad person. I didn't take that as evidence that there was something wrong with me. I took that maybe there was something that I could have done better as far as my energy, something that I could have done better as far as the way I was talking to the person, but I didn't take it as a personal affront to myself. Now, what do I mean by not a personal affront to myself? Here's what I mean. Okay, so here'd be a simple example. One thing I learned from my mentor, Mystery, was a great way to start a conversation is by making statements as opposed to drilling somebody with questions. So let's say that you go up and you start drilling somebody with questions and they're just on the move or not really in the mood to have a conversation. Well, maybe they're not going to want to talk to you. Does that make you a bad person? No. It just means that maybe you should have made statements. Or maybe it means that your energy was a little bit off. Maybe you're just having a bad day. Are you not allowed to have a bad day? I've had bad days. I've had days I went out, I had weird energy, and as a result, I didn't do well when I went out to the club or the bar or party or anywhere social. But I'm able to make a distinction there saying, okay, I've got a little bit of weird energy right now. Doesn't make me a bad guy, just means I'm having a bad day. You know, maybe I'm working on my vocal projection and my vocal projection is a little bit too loud. Now, of course, I'm always telling people to get louder and louder, but there's a limit where you're like, hey, you know, up in someone's face. So obviously over the years, if I worked on vocal projection or humor, maybe my humor was, you know, I'm trying a little bit too hard. That doesn't mean that my inner dialogue has to be negative. Rather, what it means is there's something off about the way that I'm talking to the person. Maybe I'm learning about things like frame control, which is where little subtle things that you're doing in kind of like little facial expressions that you're making, different vocal tones or different things that you're saying are kind of creating an underlying dynamic where that person's chasing you more than you're chasing them. You know, you might say, hey, you and I wouldn't get along. You know why? We're too similar. You know, little things like that. They say, no, we're going to get along. Now, let's say I tried that, but I just sort of do it when the vibe is off or something. Well, obviously, I know that does not make me a bad person. So understand that you've got to make a distinction between, you know, maybe a change that you could make versus that you're a bad person. Likewise, the people that you're meeting, it's also random. Why are you giving them that much power over you? I would not recommend giving them that much power over your perception of yourself. Look, I remember one time I went and talked to someone, and I thought I was approaching in a way that was so smooth, very positive, very upbeat. And I remember they were like, fuck off! And I was like, holy shit, like, where did that come from? And I was very, very surprised about it. I honestly thought I had great energy. I thought the way I came to initiate a conversation was very, very smooth. Check this out, very nice out here. Very, very smooth. And so I was wondering if that was me. I was like, man, I wonder what happened there. Well, sure enough, I look up later, and this person is actually getting into a fist fight with the person they came with. So they were literally, and actually, it got to the point that they were fighting even on the ground and like stomping each other and stuff. It was crazy. And I was like, oh, that's terrible. But this person's probably on meth. So the point that I'm making is that I'm distinguishing, you know, between, is it me? Like, am I a bad person? Or is it maybe something I'm doing that I could change? Doesn't make me a bad guy at a core level. Or is it maybe just something random to do with them? So that's the first distinction that I want to kind of hammer into your head, is basically that understand that part of having a great inner dialogue is realizing not everything is about you, and even if it is about you, it's something you could change. Anyway, you might remember some of the videos I've shot out here in the past called Yokohama Beach. Highly, highly recommend that you come visit here when you're in Hawaii. A little bit of a rough neighborhood, so do be careful when you're out here. Beautiful, beautiful hike up there. And you know what I'm thinking? Let's head perhaps to the next location, and we'll keep this conversation going.
Daddy, come here. It's the only thing I got. How about number 2?
That one there?
Yeah, number 2.
Yeah, you like that?
Dylan, what's number 2 called, Dylan?
That is kind of Ohio's are just super pretty.
And how about that one? Number 3. Number 3.
We're actually at the Poly Lookout right now, by the way. Beautiful, beautiful place. So that was a set of beliefs that I taught you. First one is, maybe it has nothing to do with you. It's just the way that you engage with somebody. You can change. It doesn't make you a bad person. Second one, like we said, is that maybe the person's just freaking weird. Okay? And that's the truth. That is a belief. Now, from there, what I want you to take note of, and I'm going to give you some other beliefs, is that it's actually a loop, okay? And the loop is beliefs, focus, physiology, self-fulfilling prophecy, reference experiences, beliefs, okay? Note that again. Belief system, what you believe about yourself, that shifts what you focus on. That changes how you act. That changes the reference experiences that you get because it's self-fulfilling prophecy. That changes the reference experiences, which then further feeds the belief. Now, I want you to also note that with focus, we don't necessarily believe what we see what we believe. If we believe that we're awesome, we'll find more evidence of it. If we believe that we suck, we'll find more evidence of it. Okay, and then that goes into shifting how you act, which creates self-fulfilling prophecies. More references, and then feeds beliefs, okay? But anyway, we're gonna shoot down to the next beach, and let's go into more beliefs. And then we're gonna actually look a little bit more as well, focus on physiology. So we just got over to the east shore. That little lookout point was us cutting over the mountain from the west shore to the east shore. Hawaii's insane. Every shore has different characteristics. Before we go into it, look at this. You can see why I lived here for a long time. This side is more like, it almost feels a bit more like Cancun or Tulum or Playa del Carmen with the really white sand. This part's real cool too because my kids can actually play in here. The water just shoots in and they can go bonkers. So we'll go see it, we'll walk over. Okay, so let's think to ourselves within that loop how the different belief systems impact you. So if you believe that when you're talking to somebody, maybe if they don't like you, maybe it's not a core thing to you, well then remember what you're gonna focus on. We don't believe what we see what we believe. So then we say, well, you know, rather than saying, I suck, because we believe that, instead what we wind up seeing is, oh, I could change up my approach. I could change the way that I'm doing this. Okay, cool. So maybe I'll use my voice differently. Maybe I'll control frames differently. Maybe I'll use humor differently. Or likewise, if we believe, oh, some people are just kind of weird. Okay, oh, there's Dylan. If we believe, okay, some people are just kind of weird, well then, basically what winds up happening is we just say to ourselves, okay, well, let's go meet better people. Let's go meet cooler people. There's other people to meet. So then we find evidence of that, right? As we find evidence of that, that changes our physiology, aka our behavior, self-fulfilling prophecies, get reference experiences, believe better things. Okay, so what I would ask you is, what is every single possible belief that you could have that would benefit you versus mess you up? And fundamentally, look, I was even just talking to a guy on the phone earlier today, and he was telling me about how well, guess what, buddy? We got to pay for the trip somehow. So, this is your shining moment. You're looking like a total stud right now. You're looking great, buddy. Yeah. He does this on purpose. He's actually done this as a kid. I could literally pull out videos where he throws himself on the ground and he's falling. He just likes to do this. But anyway, so like weird how personality characteristics are wired. Like he's literally been throwing himself on the ground pretending to fall since he's 2. Anyway, his brother would copy him. So, you know, the way that you raise your kids, I was talking to a guy earlier today and he was like, yeah, you know, I'm lucky my parents raised me with good beliefs about myself, right? So if you're raised with good beliefs about yourself, then you'll find you'll go into different social situations and you'll just have it to where you're not thinking that much. You're not analyzing that much. You're not overthinking things that much. Now, you want to think about social success like when you're inside your head, that's not good. And when you're outside your head, that is good. Okay, so in other words, you're inside your head, you're analyzing, am I good enough? Was this good enough? I'm uncomfortable. How do I stop being comfortable? What do I do? When you're out of your head, you don't have that much introspection. For example, Dylan, who's a straight A student in the top district in the school, and probably the top student in the top district in the school, even though he's traveling all the time with me, this kid, I mean, his memory is crazy. His ability to solve problems is crazy. But he's not someone where when you talk to him, he has a ton going on in his head. Like if you ask him questions like, you know, how are you enjoying your day? He's like, good. How good? Awesome. Rate your day out of 10. 10. How much do you like your life? Awesome. What do you rate your life out of 10? 10. Like it's all very, very simple. Now he'll clown, Dylan's still likes to punk me. So he'll clown me if I were to ask him on camera. But, you know, he'll say 2 or something to clown me. But literally, you know, if you ask him most of the time, basically what he's going to say is something very, very simple. He's not thinking that deeply. All of this like heavy depth and introspection, including that I have, a lot of that comes from growing up being completely miserable, low self-esteem, so on and so forth. And then you're kind of looking for a way out. But at a higher level, when you have good beliefs and you feel good about yourself, you still want to improve for the joy of it, but you don't have that same frustration going all the time, and you're not quite as deeply introspective. Okay, so that would be another thing to consider. Now, from there, here would be the next thing that I would kind of lay on you, is basically that we think about social interaction as what is happening in the interaction itself, right? Like, okay, you know, if X then Y, right? If I say this and I do this, that's a more technique, like a social technique perspective. What if I told you that another great way to look at it would be the energy and beliefs about yourself and happiness about yourself and vibe that you have and how present to the moment you are and how self-amused you are, things like that. Cultivating that outside of a social interaction oftentimes is a better, quote, technique than just being the same guy who's maybe trapped in your head, or, you know, or same girl, trapped in your head, you know, unhappy, analyzing everything, life sucks, trying to find a way to change life, you know, going into social interactions, not just enjoying them in the moment for what they present, but rather trying to like extract value from them and be transactional, even though on some level you do have to lead, of course, which is a sort of paradoxical sticking point. But the point being is that, you know, rather than staying as that person and then saying, okay, well, what do I do? Why don't we say, what about deep identity level change? What about changing at the core of who you actually are as a human being? And you'll find that if you do that, you actually are not required to do as much in social interactions. In fact, you can wind up doing a lot less. So we're probably gonna hop beaches at some point, or maybe we'll go elsewhere, just kind of on our journey here in Hawaii.
Are you gonna play with me?
What's that, buddy? What's touching the mountain? Oh, so that's when the clouds touch the mountain, and then it makes streams. Like little streams come out the mountains. Okay, so what we'll rock into next, and by the way, you might remember some amazing, amazing videos that we shot here back in the day, is how it is exactly that your belief system helps you specifically. And what I'm going to explain here is, first of all, it helps you within the context of your frame. Second of all, it helps you within the context of the ability to express yourself freely and more broadly. But third of all, it actually helps you to be congruent, oftentimes even just quiet. And even being quiet or congruent, it also still helps you. So what I mean by this is that you're going to see it, first of all, where there's a sort of a reality transference that I think a lot of people disacknowledge, okay? That's called who's controlling the frame. And in any social interaction, basically, whoever is reacting less to the other person, that person is basically socially pinging less, okay? Because we're all kind of socially pinging to see who's reacting to what. So for example, let's say that I were to, as a simple example, let's say there's some people here at this lookout, and suddenly I was to come back here, and then I was to be like, we're running off this. And I started running off this right now, okay? Well, what you'd see is the people that are back here, they'd go, oh, oh, like that. And then I would suddenly notice and pick up on their certainty, okay? I'd be suddenly picking up on their certainty. And in picking up on their certainty of why I should not run and jump off of the cliff, I would then suddenly get fear in my own frame, and I would start to buy into their frame, okay? So that's a more extreme version. Like, you know, you go to run off of here, And then suddenly people freak out, and then you go, oh, my frame is bad, their frame is good. They're more certain. Start picking off each other. But there's also very, very subtle versions of picking off of each other. It's extremely, extremely, extremely subtle. And this could be in things like little pauses, who is holding eye contact longer, whose voice is more certain, and so on and so forth. And then what happens is that there's a sort of a buyer-seller dynamic that's occurring in any social interaction. There's one person who maybe is hoping to get the approval of the other person, the validation of the other person a little bit more. So when you're having a conversation, when you believe in yourself, if you like yourself, if you have what in psychology they call it a good object as opposed to a bad object, you think you're cool. You rate yourself a 10 out of 10, or what I'd even like to call a 1 of 1. That's even better. Your own category. You're amazing in your own category. People feel that. They pick up on that. And so, in the same way that if I'm like, you know what, let's go, jump right now. And if I were to be like, okay, guys, we're jumping. And, I just start to like launch ahead. Well, what's going to wind up happening, everybody freaks out, and then I'm going to doubt my frame. That doubting of frame, that's occurring in any social interaction. Okay, so you've got to believe in yourself. Now, what happens is when you do believe in yourself, okay, when you believe in yourself very, very highly, the other person you're talking to begins to pick up on that, and then they believe what you believe about yourself. If you think that you're amazing, they think you're amazing. If you feel that they would benefit more from knowing you than you'd benefit from knowing them, they feel that. If you feel that you should have a lot of fun together right now, they feel that. If you start to set a certain style of social interaction or joking around, they feel that, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so that's the first way that your belief system is helping you. So why do you want to have a technique at that point when you could have a belief system that will cause all these little small microscopic changes to happen automatically? The second one is that if you believe in yourself, you're not going to filter as much, so you're going to express more freely. You're just going to be having fun, joking around, expressing yourself. It's easy, it's fun. So here's a little guy who likes to express. He definitely likes to express himself very freely. So, if you're just running around having fun, Tristan, come here, buddy. Come see the view. By the way, he has frame control, so he'll never listen to a direct answer. Tristan, don't come see the view. He'll never do it though. He'll always do it in some other alternate way. And I never taught him this ever. But he'll never actually listen. It's okay, buddy. You can go look at the view. What's it? No, Dylan. Let him go look at the view. Dylan. Let him look at the view. Okay, let him go. Dylan, let him go. Okay, all right, buddy. Okay, so, yeah, the point is Tristan will always kind of frame it like he's not listening directly, okay? He has a thing like that, okay? Let's see. Tristan, high five. Tristan, you don't need to make him do it. Tristan, no high five. No high five. Okay. Tristan, you can't high five me. I'm not gonna let you high five me.
No.
Okay?
Oh, you hit me.
All right, Tristan, now I want the high five.
Oh, you hit me, sir. I will protect you from it.
So, okay, we'll keep rolling. Sorry, man. Just, I love my kids. Okay, so, anyway, the point being, in Tristan's mind, he's not going to listen to you directly because in his mind, he doesn't see it that he needs anything from you. Of course, he's a kid. Of course, he needs something from you. But in his mind, he doesn't need anything from you. So that's coming through. It's like if someone says, what's your name? And then you say, guess. Or what's your birthday? You say, guess. That would be a small example. Well, that's coming from high self-esteem, right? So you have the combination of frame, but then you're also freely expressing yourself. You're not filtering yourself. You can free associate. You can talk and talk. And then the last one is if you believe in yourself, you can also be very, very quiet. And if you're being very, very quiet, then what happens is that you do so with a high sense of certainty. Your pupils stay steady. Your pupils stay dilated in the same way. And so you can actually walk up to someone and start a conversation and be very, very quiet. And if in your belief system you think well of yourself, you go to talk to them and you just kind of sit there quiet, oftentimes they'll start leaning into you and they will start investing into you. You tried the low energy. What was your experience with the low energy? It's the first time trying it.
So the low energy blew my mind. Usually I'm naturally just energetic and bouncing around. And then I slowed it down a lot to the point where I felt like I was being really boring and slow and like molasses coming out of my mouth. The people loved it. There's getting more and more questions. And it's like I could just hang around there forever, and they wanted me to stay. And yeah, it was awesome, and I'm going to keep playing with that.
The winners get to win all week, and then you go out and you let off steam. That's the whole point of going out. It's to let your brain decompress. The other sprinklers, and then now Yusem come to get us, catching a late night debriefing out here on training.
Where else would I go to practice that down?
I think the actual adoption of the mindset, right? So the whole idea of trying for rapport tonality versus breaking rapport tonality is that if you have two, it's a part of human nature that if you have, it's funny, if you want to know about my life right now, it's kind of a weird thing. I have all these people that want to do business with me that I haven't called back, and I'm embarrassed about it. I have girls, like if I were to pull my phone out right now and show you some of the women that I'm not calling back, you would be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? But it comes from hitting bandwidth. I'm trying to spend time with my kids. I'm trying to be out here with you guys. I'm trying to, all this different kind of stuff, right? Yeah. There's a great, man, there's like a great one that I should literally be calling, that's like, I gotta call her back. Like, look at some of this, like some of these are like $100,000 sales. Like this one here, right? Like she wants to talk to me, and like I said that I would call back. 5:10. What the fuck am I doing?
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, it's like, like literally, I'm just like stupid. You know what I mean? I'm a fucking moron, right? So what happens is, now imagine if you're sitting there. Imagine if you haven't called her back. Now I could pull out threads of people saying, I want to give you $100,000, and I'm not calling them back. What is my tone going to sound like when people try to befriend me?
Like I don't have time.
It's going to be like you just ate at the Brazilian barbecue and you got brought out the filet, the ribeye, the New York steak, the pineapple, you're fucking stuffed.
Yeah.
And then you're like, and then they're like, do you want more food? You're like, no, I'm good. How would your tone sound if you just had Brazilian barbecue and you're stuffed, and then someone tries to give you more food?
I'd just be chill. Like I wouldn't care.
Mm-hmm. But what if they keep insisting to give you the food?
Like, go away.
Right? That would be your energy, right? So when you have too many friends, you have a little bit more of a barrier that's there. So when people consider there's a barrier, they assume that that's where the value is. This is evolutionary.
Yeah.
So if you're too welcoming, people see, I'm actually a very welcoming person when I can be. But the thing is that I've trained myself to be like that. But most people have not taken the time to train themselves to be like that. And evolutionarily, we wouldn't have probably trained ourselves to be like that.
Yeah.
So they associate over niceness with you just want something, as having an agenda, as being untrustworthy. So having a little bit of a barrier where you're a little bit harder to talk to actually generates trust.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a problem in our society. It's a larger problem in our society. It's not as a problem knowing who to trust.
And it's, yeah. And there's something I can do, obviously, delusionally, but also just by getting busy doing all this good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Right? All the business stuff, self-branding, plus people.
Yes.
I'll automatically be filled.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, that's stuff I had. Other than that, so much of the stuff you've been saying has been super relevant to me. I noticed that's how you also teach. So that was fascinating, because even when like Tanner's asking a question or not needs help, everything you said was like somewhat extremely applicable to all of us.
Yeah, it's intention.
Cool. Yeah.
I'm aware of all your guys' different sticking points, so I'm giving you each feedback, but I'm kind of shooting nuggets at you guys, just hoping that you'll overhear it passively. Mm-hmm. Okay. Good. Okay, we'll keep thinking on it, okay?
Yeah.
But the major thing again is being a part of that larger conversation of your business. That's going to be the really big one.
Got it.
I've done 30-day challenges, going all out. That approaching is not an issue.
Mm-hmm.
It's
for me, I think it's the limiting beliefs of things that I have. So like in the set, for example, like when I'm going all in, having that block, it's like to have that kind of double take.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I kind of struggle with. I'm just curious if you have any thoughts on overcoming.
No, I do. Okay, so what you're talking about is you've been aiming to build social confidence, and so you've done things like 30-day challenges, aiming to talk to a lot of people, like every single thing that you can do to break through your natural, like almost like we're driving the car with the parking brake on, and you're saying to yourself, how could I just aggressively push through with the parking brake on? So you've done that, which is great. So the next step is, how do we just get rid of the parking brake? Does that kind of your question?
Yeah.
Okay. So that is a combination of everything from beliefs, focus, physiology, which then creates self-fulfilling prophecies. Self-fulfilling prophecies generates reference experiences, which then further fuels that belief. Okay? So what you do is you say to yourself, what kind of beliefs would somebody who's completely at ease talking to everybody have? So what are some of those beliefs? I have value. I add value. My cup runneth over. I'm here to add energy. I'm not taking anything. I have what I need. I feel really good and want to spread that. You ever been in and this is not the nicest thing, but you ever been in a bad mood and you kind of just want to like pop off maybe on someone even close to you so that they could be in a bad mood so that you could feel understood? It's kind of a bad tendency humans have, but we all do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you want to almost be like the opposite of that and I know that you're already doing this, but you want to codify it, is you want to be in the good mood, and then you feel in such a good mood that you want other people to understand your good mood. And so you're spreading the good mood as you go around. So this is why I've always said, or for many years I've said, a lot of social skills is less to do with like what you're actually doing in a social interaction. It's what you're doing outside of that interaction. Okay, so there's the social skills within the interaction, and then there's the social skills outside of the interaction, okay? So you want to think about it like, as I'm walking here to see you guys, I'm just my compulsive habit at this point, pumping my state. Basically my brain, here, if you want to go inside my brain, here's kind of what it looks like. It's like, man, this is cool. We're in Hawaii. God, my job is so cool. I really love my students. I want to crush it for them. Wow, I want to make a super cool video. All the people that like my videos are going to be super excited when I make a video. I love my kids. My kids are so funny. They're so cool. I'm so cool. God is so cool. Wow, the air here is really good. That I'm thinking like, I think a lot about ex-girlfriends, but like all positive, like creepishly, like to the point that people are like, are you still like in love with them? I'm like, no. And they're like, you sound like you are. I'm like, no, I just love my exes, like all of them. Like I love all my ex-girlfriends. And when I think about them, I just think about us having sex. I think about us, all the fun stuff that we did. I completely forget all the bullshit. I have no focus whatsoever on like any problems they cause. Well, sometimes I'll get back together with them, and then like I've forgotten some of the problems that were there. And I'm like, oh, that was why. I didn't even remember why we broke up. And then I'm like, okay, well, that was why. There's an incompatibility there. But nonetheless, like when I'm in it, I appreciate them. Whatever girl who I'm with, I always think is like the most amazing girl. I always think that my students are the most amazing students. I always think that like whatever free tour I'm doing is awesome. I'm super excited about future plans. I have things that inspire me and keep me driven. I think about like meals that I just ate. I think about past restaurants I ate at. I think about like national parks that I went to, hikes that I went on. I think about skiing trips that I did, places that I want to go. I look back at old photos. I make videos of all my experiences. I actually make the video so I can curate it just so that I can go watch the video later and go, that was so sick. People laugh when they see me watching my own footage because I look like I'm a super fan of my own footage. Like I laugh at all my jokes. Yeah. I get like, I get all excited. Like I'm like all into it. People are like, oh, are you like a fanboy? I'm like, I'm a fanboy. Like I'm a fanboy of my own videos. I also like other movies. Like I think of like cool movies that I saw. I think about video games that I played. Like I've only played a small handful of video games, but you'll hear me talk about them all the time, like Horizon Zero Dawn, God of War, Ghost of Tsushima. Yeah. Like I think about it like all the time, like this cool video game that I played, how cool it was. And it's just like loops in my brain all the time. And then I'm also thinking about shit that I think is funny. So I'm like laughing and stuff. So I'm always just thinking of things that I think are really, really, really funny. And then basically I'm also very present to the moment. I'm just not even thinking. I'm just kind of like looking around and like kind of in the zone. And then I'll think about things that make me angry, but it's 100% solution oriented. So I fully believe that I could have some kind of an impact either in coaching someone else to fix that or that I could fix it. So like I like to be pissed off. I actually think that feels good if it's something I can go fix, not just to loop on being mad or to be a victim. I'm not mad at anybody. I fully forgive everyone in my life. I have no ill will. I have no ill will towards anybody. I don't want to take anything from anybody at all. If someone offered me free money, I say no. I don't want to take anything at all. I want to earn what it is that I get. I'm there to go to a venue to add value to that venue. I think that I'm very fun. I think I have good energy. I want to spread that fun. I want to spread that good energy. I don't expect that everybody has to be in love with me or think I'm the best person ever, but I think that of myself, and I think that for the right person, they might think that of me too. And for the wrong person, they won't, and that's actually okay too. And that's totally fine because they might have a different aspiration or dream or direction. That's why there's so many people. So I think it's cool that God made so many people so that there's people that we can meet. You know, I go to do a seminar and it's like, yeah, it's like, okay, you know, this is a cool seminar. Like there's people here that like what I do, so I can be fully myself. So I'm looking to screen and find people like that. So when I'm going out, I just want to offer my perspective and add value to that venue. And then from there, as I'm adding value to the venue, then I just want to, I don't know, just make everyone have fun. And then like the people that I curated, as like the best ones to meet up, offer them a really good chance to meet up, have like a really cool party to invite them to or something fun to invite them to, and then just invite them to that. And I hope they have a good time. And then I really go out of my way. Like I find other friends that like parties, like ship in maybe 5-10K to put on like a super cool party. And then like I invite all these cool people that I met. And then I only want my friends to be at that party that will pay, because I want the people that came to that party to be invested in the party and to be excited about the party. And like, I find if you don't get your friends to pay for it, that like anyone just kind of shows up just cause. So I want people that really genuinely want to be there. If somebody really wants to come and they couldn't ship in a bit, maybe they could help out of the party. But basically it's like, you know, they could like help clean up or something. But like I want people that are invested so that we're kind of all in it together. Just like this training, I want everybody's invested, everybody's all in it together. I come on the training, I want to go all out. You know, I like people that will engage with me. So in other words, like I want to have a girlfriend that like thinks my life is cool, thinks I'm cool, thinks what we're doing is cool, sees a future, isn't nitpicking and thinking what we're doing sucks. You know, and you know, I can take a little feedback here or there, but I'm not looking for that to be like just this ongoing argument and problem with everything happening. And then basically what I want to do is I want to find other people that are like me in that area. And then basically I want to fully engage. So like I want to have like, for example, if I have a girlfriend, I want her to be someone I'm really attracted to and really, really into and I'm really excited about. So I'll engage with her. If I have clients, I want clients that like, you know, are well vetted, well screened. So that, you know, the way that I talk to you guys and like spend the weekend focused on you guys, I want to be like that with clients because I want to be like engaged. Like I want to like care about you. I want to add value to you. I want to be here for you. I want to learn about you. I want to change your life and add what I can. And then I want you to be a 10 out of 10 recipient, to listen to what I'm saying, to take it on board, to value it, to ponder it, just like how you were, like where you're like super like having like a real epiphany, thinking about it, maybe even getting mad because you're realizing what you could have done or what you could have done different. Like that's the kind of reaction that I like. So thank you. You know, like I like to see that reaction, or, you know, going all out. And then I try to surround myself with people like that. So when I'm at the venue, I'm just looking for like other people that are kind of like that. And then if I could just find other people that are kind of like in that mode, then what I do is I just kind of like have like a whole kind of like little mini family of people that are like that. And then I'm good to go. Right? So that's all that I'm thinking when I go out. It's just like I want to have fun. I want to bring fun. I want to have like a big giant party.
I think
spread it.
be your biggest fan.
Be my biggest fan. Inner cheerleaders are my team. Yeah, you know, just enjoy my life.
Create an environment that just gets you up and up and up.
Yeah.
In a sense, and then you yourself will feel.
Yeah. And it's all curated and it's done with high intention. People don't think to do this. It's done with high intention. That's the big thing. High intention. Mm-hmm.
Thanks for that. A lot of ideas on how to curate that.
Mm-hmm. So I don't get nervous. It's a way of being, right? Social success is a way of being more so than a method. It's a mode of being. Because now you're not stifling your voice. You're not stifling your free association. You're talking. You're having fun.
Yeah.
You're wanting to go say hi to people. You're wanting to spread that. Just like when you're mad, you almost want to make someone else mad. It's the same kind of thing with this. You want to make everyone happy. But then you want to curate for the people that want to engage with that more. Because not everybody wants to engage with that. And that's fine.
Right. And it's really great. Intrapersonally, that's the inner game. Interpersonally, for me, I'll speak for myself, I view you as a really a symbol of sexual intelligence, possibly even sexual mastery. And Thanks.
Thanks, bro.
Inspiring.
I'm not that good in bed, but I'm good at getting into bed. So yeah, but the thing is, I'm also good at framing it where the girl's excited to come to bed. So that's the main thing. Yeah.
Respect too, you know. Like the advice you're able to give is just direct, but it's clear and it's honest. Brutally so sure.
That's what I'm going for, yeah. Thank you. This man? Yeah. Okay. Any other questions?
I think I had a question about vocal projection, but then from what we saw clearly, I mean, what you were discussing all about, license.
Yeah. So it's not even a technique. It's an underlying frame that it emanates. It's a way of being.
You're just doing that. Then as time goes forward, it just gets more part of you and just get louder how you are. Everything's out there. You know, people can hear you everywhere.
Yeah.
It's freedom in a sense, and it's caged.
Correct. You got it. You know
pretty better. Yeah, so I think I was working out, like, sent out vocal projection from your Blueprint Viewer stuff. Just working on it for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Getting better, but then it keeps regressing, especially in the set, in game. But what are you telling me? Okay, outside of the game, what are you doing? That's where internally you have to work on things being more positive, more gain-oriented, as opposed to all the judgmental thoughts that I have.
That's right.
So,
yeah, so in other words, we could have the parking brake on and then push through, which is great because... To be honest, like, I actually prefer to just start with some technique and, like, some just push into something, because I find that a lot of the, like, audit where you're coming from internally, it's a little bit abstract. So I like things that are less abstract and more concrete. But then as we lead into that transformation, then it's like, well, okay, what am I even doing? Right? You're like, who am I trying to become right now? Like, what am I trying to act like? And then we audit that, and then now we've grown the trim a bit. We can get the roots down a bit too.
That's what, again, enough struggle with. Like, all the techniques, like, both of us know everything. It's that way of being, it's one that's missing.
Yeah, and that was my emphasis for you guys, was what's going on in between interactions. So it's your underlying frame of how you're showing up and who you're showing up as internally, as your inner point of origin. And then from there, how you're using your beliefs, focus, and physiology in between the interactions. Laughing, joking, being grateful, having fun, and then being more like the Care Bear shooting the energy out, as opposed to the black hole trying to take energy in. That is, you shoot energy out, much like the sun. The plants lean towards the sun. People want the sun, or the money, or the value source. People want to move towards the value. And then from there, you're screening for people that want to engage deeply, and then that's how you locate them.
And with physiology, could you go deeper on what that means?
Well, it's like going through the venue, like laughing, having fun, joking, being playful, enjoying yourself.
Okay. That's huge for me. It's like when I go to the club, it's like very disciplined. Like, hey.
Yeah, which by the way is so cool, because you're at such a higher level than most people who are undisciplined, who will not go engage and will just go home. So you've done that, right? So okay, now that you've done that, then you say to yourself, what is my mental point of origin? Who am I? What is the place that I'm coming from? And also, how am I enjoying my night? So you want to think about your night a little bit more holistically, and say to yourself, like, it's not just like how I went up to that person to talk to them, because now they're kind of the goal.
Why do you want to lick it? Just unless you lick it, if you tell me why you want to lick it, okay? Okay, because I guess I won't let you. I guess I can't.
This one.
It makes you strong?
Yeah.
He says licking it makes you strong.
Licking this bar makes you strong?
Yeah. That's what he says.
Tristan, I think that's like steak or like vegetables, maybe some fruit.
No. 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 No.
So this will be our final shot for the video. I hope that you liked that debriefing. We had an incredible weekend. And this is actually Tantalus Lookout, which overlooks Waikiki. We've shot a bunch of really, 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 really fun videos out here over the years, and people actually will come up here and catch a view of the city. So we'll wrap up right here. Here's what I want to leave you with. So you saw my kids a lot in this video, and I think that's sort of thematic. It's thematic because what I'm going to leave you with is, if you were your own son or daughter, would you be okay with the beliefs that you have? Would you be okay with the way that you talk to yourself if you were your own son or daughter? So if you have a son or daughter and they talk to themselves in their head the way that you do, would you be okay with that? If you change it, then shift your beliefs, shift your focus, shift your physiology, change your life, and things will be very, 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 very different. I think it'll be a lot better. I'm going to wrap up, heading home. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.